Hello. Whoa. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck was that? Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm
I'm
Darren
Vince
Miller.
Lewis, sir. Oh, how dare you, Darren?
Whoa.
Just
This is
'cause you-
going terribly.
Just because you cast your bet doesn't mean you can just trample all over me because I'm some kind of poor now.
Sorry, my timing is off. It's just money does that to a person.
Yeah, you
Must
haven't
be
worried about someone
$130.
else in a long
I paid
time.
to affect time.
Darren Miller, of course, for those of you who don't know, made a bet in our Bet It and Forget It segment for $130 total. And on the last game of the season, cashed it in. And his bet was what, Darren?
Second to last game, Ilie
Oh, yeah.
Sanchez goal. Great comment here from Tim Morgan. Anyone have stoppage time goal from Ilie on their bingo card? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Our bingo cards only have one thing a person.
Yep.
And Darren
All I
had it on
there.
Bingo.
Yep.
You think it'd be harder?
Look, I want to talk about this game, but we are very lucky to have someone calling in right now from the stadium. So before we lose them, I want to get Adam and Kate on the show. Adam and Kate, welcome to the show. What's the vibe there?
Woo!
What's up, guys?
Nice to see you. How's Vancouver?
It's very good, a lot of fun. Kate got a very sweaty Ilie hug.
I did.
And he said that we brought him luck for the goal, so that was good.
Oh, that's amazing.
Amazing.
And
what was it?
You know, I got to say, sad foot. It was the second half. It felt very like we weren't going to come back, but you know that last second goal. So we needed.
Yeah.
Nothing feels better than 20 LAFC fans jumping around while everyone else is sad.
That is incredible.
I was gonna say, what was the away contingency like? What was the vibe?
There was a up there in the side over there. There was about 25 fans.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of us down in this Asahi section, which highly recommend because it's $100. You sit right behind the players here, and it's a really good experience. And in LA, I imagine this would be like a $2,000 experience. So
It's a bargain.
You need 2 million Instagram followers.
But yeah, that's Happy Foot, obviously the win. So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, anything else from the game you want to let us know before we let you go? But thank you so much for calling in. This is so exciting.
Yep.
This is awesome.
Anything else?
We waited and saw Frattini did not fit Dolo's dick. So.
No sucking Dolo's dick today. No.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for confirming that live. We did require a live in-person confirmation. That is very important.
Journalism is important. We need to support journalism.
We knew what the Happy Foot, Sad Foot listeners would want to know.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Commitment.
Truly.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Adam and Kate, thanks so much
Thanks,
for
guys.
calling in. Wow, we don't even need a post game. We know what we're going to talk about now.
And that's what supporting us on Patreon really gets. We are able to send journalists to the away days to investigate on those more long-term investigations. The things, when something happens in an event in a city, in a place, it doesn't just end there. You don't need someone on the ground just like that day. You need to be reporting, you need to be following up. And so now, because of all of your support, we're able to send people for those follow-up visits to really get to the bottom of what's really going on in these bigger stories. So thank you so much.
Happy Foot, Sad Foot, brought to you by The Intercept. Vince, what happened? Okay, so this is a tale of two halves, right? And then a little bit after the second half. The first half was great. The second half was terrible. Extra time was beautiful. Walk us through what happened. Are we mad at Steve Cherundolo for the second half? How do we feel?
I don't think you can be mad at Steve for the second half. I mean, let's be honest. They only do score a goal through an own goal. It's counted as an own goal. Although, unfortunately for Sergi Palencia, he did also give up the free kick that led to it.
Yes.
A lot
Probably
of
his worst few minutes of the season from Sergi Palencia.
Yeah, for a guy that's
great game otherwise.
Oh, always. Yeah, he's so consistent. Like he's just. They did mention briefly that he is up for Defender of the Year. He will absolutely not win that award, not because he's not good enough and not because he isn't a great defender. It just doesn't normally go to a guy like him that is just consistent and actually a good defender. A lot of times it goes to a guy that scores a lot of goals from defense. So a lot of the game, obviously it starts with the goal right away, and that kind of has a tint on a lot of the game. But I did really enjoy that first half for a couple reasons. And it really came down to simplicity. I thought that LAFC was playing really simple soccer that was really pretty to watch because it was an economy of touches. It was 1 and 2 touch passing. It was knowing where the next pass was. And realistically, once they got the goal, they were like, look, Vancouver, you need this. You need the ball. Come and get it. We'll use your aggression against you. And they did a really good job, like I said, of moving the ball in and out of pressure, getting the ball forward. And that was just, I think they had 68% possession to end the half, something you don't normally see with LAFC. And it was just very controlled, very measured. And they were going through the gears and finding spaces. Second half, though, Vancouver steps it up. Look, their season's not on the line, but they definitely want to start to get some momentum going into the playoffs. And I think they definitely had a little bit more pace to their game, a little bit just more willingness to play. And they started winning some, and really realistically what they did was starting winning some set pieces, and they were better. They're a really good set piece team. They have that long throw from Tristan Blackman that really helps them. And so that really mucks up the rhythm of LAFC's rhythm that they had in the first half too. I think the Martinez injury knocks them down a peg as well because it unbalances them. Steve has to kind of wait to move some pieces in order to get the 3 wide that they normally like to play with. But they manage, they suffer, they manage to find a way to win. I know both teams are missing a lot of good players, but LAFC just found a way to win. And ultimately it means that they can drop no lower than second in the West, and there's still a chance at taking the top spot.
So 3 happy feet that you just reminded me of as you were speaking. First one, obviously it's a bummer to lose Martinez the way that we lost him. But his assist on the first goal was phenomenal. Really, really beautiful shot or a pass to Bogusz. And that entire play, I believe, started with Marlon I wrote it down. Marlon and Aaron Long had a nice pass out of the back. I noticed that a few times where Aaron Long looked above defenders and found someone on the wing, whether it was Martinez or Campos. And Long, we gave shit for a long time about his passing. And I saw some great passing from Long tonight. And then second happy foot was Ordaz is the only reason we had that fucking second goal. Nathan Ordaz playing hard late in the game, waiting, beating 2 defenders, finding a nice pass, which eventually led to Ilie getting an open shot. Just truly, we've given Ordaz a lot of shit. Let's make sure Ordaz gets his flowers. And then lastly, like you said, there is still a chance we can win the top of the West. Here's what needs to happen. We need to win next week. The Galaxy need to lose, and we need to win by more than 2. We would be tied in goal differential if we win by 2. We have to win by more than 2. After that, I believe it goes to goals scored, and they are way ahead of us in goals scored. They're like 8 goals ahead of us.
Actually, in order for the Galaxy to lose, that would knock them down 1. So
You're right.
So 2 or more would be enough as long as the Galaxy lose.
Yeah, we have to win by 2. You're correct.
Okay.
But if we end up at the same as them and the same goal differential, we still are in second. We want to win on goal differential. Basically, that's our only hope.
Right. Yeah. It would take, I think like 9 goals or something crazy at that point. So, and actually even then that doesn't make sense because goal differential would be better than, I don't know. It just, I don't want to do math right now.
They need to lose by 2 or we need to win by 2 or some combination that works that math out. But it's still not out of the realm of possibility that we win the West. It's a long shot still, but it's possible for sure. Who are they playing next week? Do we know?
They're going to Houston, which is not an easy place to play. So these are all entirely possible. Obviously, though, most importantly, you have to win your home games. San Jose has nothing to play for, but that doesn't mean that you should just think it's a given. Obviously, they're going to be getting Bouanga back. He needs 4 goals at this moment to tie for the Golden Boot. Wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. But again, you have to win your home games. You have to beat San Jose, and then we'll see what happens with Houston. It's obviously not a good place for the Galaxy to be. I would think they're looking at this not with a little bit of anxiety because it seemed like they had it wrapped up, and then this happens. And again, regardless of what happens, can't drop any lower than second. So really nice finish to the season.
Home field until at least the Western Conference Finals. After that, we would be away in almost all circumstances of teams you imagine we would play from the East if we were in MLS Cup. We will most likely not host MLS Cup unless something crazy happens in the East. Darren, any happy feet or sad feet on your end?
Oh, first of all, Ilie Sanchez. Did we cover that yet? I don't know.
What are you going to do with your $130?
I mean, I guess buy a house, right?
Oh, no, we live in Los Angeles and not Kansas City.
Oh, and what year?
It's 1954, but still in Los Angeles, you can't afford it.
Okay, never mind then.
I want to add just one more thing to the last bit we talked about. Actually, looking at the standings, only Columbus and Miami have more points than LAFC.
Oh, interesting. So Cincinnati is a home.
Cincinnati, Orlando, obviously we're starting to get lower and lower, but Cincinnati is a good team, and that anything can happen.
So
I will preface
a chance at Supporter Shield, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, guys, buy your tickets now. BMO Stadium, LAFC versus Cincinnati. No, I should preface this. I know that everyone's saying, like, I want to get the first spot because I don't want to have to go to Carson in the Western Conference Finals. Slow down. Win your games. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm also fine with going to Miami. I don't want to go to Columbus, but if you want to make me go to Miami in the middle of December, right? Happy to go to Miami.
Yeah, sure. Of course. We'll stay for a little bit too, even.
I do have a couple other happy feet if we're getting into it.
Hold on, Darren, you didn't read this comment. I thought this was nice.
I did. I put it up there.
Oh.
And then I was trying to be respectful and took it down. I didn't want to put it up for too long.
Yeah. You could just leave it up the rest of the.
Gotta gloat, guys.
Sure, go ahead.
It was a shot that I didn't think he was going to take. Right? I didn't assume he would take it, and he does follow us on Instagram, so it is possible he listens start to finish every episode.
Ilie, I knew it as soon as he touched his foot. I was like, "Oh my god, this is it! He's going to do it."
He's a Patreon. He's a Patreon subscriber.
I think he took the first touch, and to Travis's point, was thinking, "Okay, how can I slot the ball back inside to Kamara?" But probably looked up and was like, is the goalkeeper not going to respect me? I'm just going to sneak it into that far post.
And dare I say the smart choice?
Sorry, near post. Yeah,
it
was a smart choice.
It was. Yeah. We can go into that sequence. I really thought it was interesting how that played out because no one really expected Ardaz to really force the issue. And he did and got it into Kamara. And then Kamara was like, oh, I have it in the box. This is nice.
Right.
And I guess I don't have a shot. And then there was somebody between him and
Lewis
O'Brien. And that was another really smart choice to go beyond him and not go straight to O'Brien because the defenders were kind of on. He was kind of still in that same area that was covered. And then once he got up to Ilie, the whole defense was like a step behind. They didn't just no one. Everyone was still kind of shocked that Ardaz just forced it through that far. I think. And
yeah, I mean,
he was just like, I'm just going to score now.
I mean, what a moment! You're 20 years old. You haven't been playing your best football. Haven't been playing at all, really. You get the ball, and I think all of us in that moment were thinking, just hold on to the ball long enough to let the team get forward and then play it backwards. And he's like, no, YOLO, I'm going through. And
I just love that's the card. Like we give him shit and we always like say that's what it is. Like, let's go in and make him an agent of chaos. And like, that's the play the card that's being played every time. And like, it worked this time. It's a thing because it usually doesn't work, but now that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. We do have a super chat from William Lamb, $9.99. Thank you so much, William, for the last regular game of 2024 season for LAFC against San Jose. Easy pleasy for Carlos Vela appearances for this Saturday. Yes. By the way, LA Dodgers in lead over New York Mets 6-0, sixth inning. Thank you so much, William, for the update.
Goodness.
For the first time ever, I am second screening it during the. Will this get us taken off YouTube if I do that?
I don't think so. I think you're good.
That was fair use. You did it for just a couple seconds. No, take it back down. No.
Just hold this up for a while. We'll
Watch
get a lot of
skyrocket.
Welcome to our watch along.
Wow, we have 10,000 concurrent viewers. I wonder why.
What is this letter that has just been delivered to me by hand?
My other happy foot is the post. Man of the match, the post.
Multiple times. And also, Timothy Tillman.
Also Timothy Tillman. You guys have given Timothy, not you guys, but I mean like the listeners and viewers have given Timothy Tillman the last couple of games a lot of shit. And yes, he has been caught on the ball a couple of times, but we always talk about he does a lot of things as a midfielder. He's a smart player, and that was a smart move. They did a very good job of breaking it down on the broadcast. That ball coming in and where he was on the outskirts of the formation, knowing that there's nothing I can do to affect that ball there. But what I can do is drop back and just become another defender or another goalkeeper in a lot of ways is really smart on a set piece, especially when you were struggling against set pieces against Vancouver.
I was ready to come on here and be angry for the first time in a long time, right? It felt like a game that had gotten away from us.
Yeah.
That like we deserved to win. And, you know, one dumb, or I guess two dumb mistakes from Palencia. Can't really fault him for the own goal. That shit happens. But like you one sequence, like their only shot on goal, and then immediately everything falls apart, right? Martinez has already been taken out. The team just falls flat. And like, you just feel the loss coming. You feel it there. And even if we had gotten the tie, we didn't deserve a tie at that point, right? Like the second half was a disaster. And if it literally was not for Nathan Rodaz making that nutmeg and finding that pass to Lewis O'Brien. Lewis O'Brien's an interesting player. I want to talk about him a little bit, actually. Like, he does so many things really well. And then also during the game is incredibly frustrating to watch at times. Like, he likes just running into people. And he'll he just seems a little bit, what's the word? Like, he's just haphazard sometimes with his play. I do think he's smart. I do think he's good, but I do think he makes weird mistakes sometimes. And it hasn't bit us in the ass too many times, but it certainly worries me a little bit going into the playoffs. How do you guys feel about Lewis O'Brien?
I like the partnership of O'Brien and Tillman. They cover a lot of ground. They're very energetic. To your point, they are prone for a mistake here and there, but it's because they're so involved. Like, they are very integral to the way LAFC plays on both sides of the ball. And I think because of that, our eyes are on them constantly. But it's just the two of them in the middle there, and they really boss it. And they give that opportunity for the center backs because they block a lot of passing lanes, and then the center backs can be a little bit more aggressive. And that's what starts counterattacks, and that's what gets the team forward. I think a lot like last year, we kind of are going to have to live and die a little bit by transitional moments in the counterattack. But I would say that the two of them can dribble the ball forward and they can find spaces. I do like the way they kind of work together. And like I said, in that first half, just simple 1 and 2 touches, finding the next pass, getting it from a congested area out wide to, you know, your wing backs and getting LAFC a chance to just move forward. It's not super sexy to watch. They're definitely not going to be highlight reel type guys, but I think that they do a lot to keep the team ticking.
And he also does have a tattoo of a soccer ball, and I can't ever not think about that when I think of Lewis O'Brien.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, I can't decide if I love or hate that. I think I love that.
I mean, Messi also has a tattoo of a soccer ball. So if
It
Messi
has a crown,
can do it,
his has the crown on it though, which is fair.
But but like the clip art version of a soccer ball is so funny if you're a professional soccer player.
I think I'm into it. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I'm interested in this enough to have it tattooed on my arm, and I am a professional. I mean, yeah, it all checks out. I think it's great.
Darren, do you feel comfortable with Lewis O'Brien on the team because you're from Boston and his name is Lewis O'Brien?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. I grew up with a lot of O'Briens, a couple Lewis O'Briens.
Sully.
Love it. Yeah.
Can you do a Boston accent?
Yes, I'm able to do a Boston accent.
When you go back to Boston, do you slowly like weave into it, and then
I never had one. The accent in Boston works in strange. I don't know why we're getting into this, but it's like rings around the city where it's like kind of every other ring.
Okay,
people have accents.
So there's levels.
The geography's strange. Yeah, sometimes closer to the city there's accents. Sometimes further from the city there's accents. But yeah. Lewis O'Brien is like, you know, that guy who I played baseball with who also plays hockey.
Yeah. This
is absolutely an important question that should be answered.
I was like, should we answer some of the more LAFC related questions in the chat? But Vince went right to the
most LAFC related. No, this is. You have to first of all, Rebecca, you have to take command of your neighborhood. And this is the way you do it.
Hey, read it out loud. Read it out loud
for the future listeners only.
Oh yeah, I forgot. People do just listen afterwards. Chat, I got to ask an important cue that's a bit off topic. Again, Rebecca, right on topic, right in our wheelhouse. Should Ryan and I attempt to make our 12-foot skeleton in LAFC jerseys? Any ideas how? Again, short answer, yes. How? Mm-hmm. No clue. But
I mean, do the Giroud jerseys just come in that size?
Yeah, Giroud's about 12 feet tall.
I do think, okay, so let's figure this out, right? So you have to measure the torso.
Right.
But I'm sure
Smart.
that's pretty actually easy to do just by saying, okay, it's 12 feet tall. What percentage of the body is the torso? And then you got to take an old jersey you don't want anymore, say Chicho Rango, Diego Rossi. Who don't we like anymore? I still like Chicho. I don't like Diego anymore.
Yeah.
Anyone with this smokescreen kit you see before
anyone
you.
has a Brian Rodriguez jersey they'd like to donate,
Yeah.
or an Andre Horta jersey they'd like to donate, I'm sure that would be really great for this.
I think you got to cut the sides, right? And you got to get some fabric, some black fabric around the sides. And I think that's the way you do it. You're gonna have to sew width around the sides and keep the front and the back the same.
Well, and in keeping with the theme, it's fine if you have a lot of sew areas, kind of like Frankenstein. It just fits the vibe. So just go for it. Get some gold thread or some yellow shoelaces or something, and just loop it all together. I think it'll be great.
Who's the spookiest LAFC player that there could be a jersey of?
Oh, good question.
Who is the spookiest?
All time?
Yeah, all time.
You could say Crepeau.
Simon was pretty menacing.
Leg.
Yeah.
Dangling leg, Crepeau.
I feel like Tristan Blackman actually is pretty spooky. Like when I think of who would be goth, Tristan Blackman, I could imagine as a goth person.
The hair is, a little bit, yeah. Is this, by the way, we're showing this. We're showing this full-fledged endorsement from Miss Bones in the comments. Does she count as like coming from a place of authority on this particular issue?
Right.
Is it cultural appropriation to have a skeleton on your yard? Let us know if it's offensive for people to display skeletons, Miss Bones.
To skeleton. To skeleton. Does she speak for skeletons? I don't know. Also, another question worth posing here, if we're really getting into it, the skeleton. Okay, so the skeleton's scary. The skeleton's undead, I assume. What is the message here? Are we saying that the skeleton is bad? Like, should it be a Galaxy jersey, perhaps? I'm not saying I think that. I'm just putting it out there.
Maldonado.
Maldonado is spooky. Maldonado, spooky player. I fully agree with you. Spooky. Segura, anytime he has the ball, is spooky.
Oh, come on.
I think my theory is that was really what Palencia was doing. He was doing an impression of early season Segura.
Yeah. Maldonado was spooky because of his slicked hair too, right? Like it was a little Addams Family-y. Pretty goth, that guy. All right. I think we figured it out. We got to buy you a Maldonado jersey in XXL.
Maybe we could start. I would say, like, if anybody, we can help put people in touch. If anybody has a jersey they have no reason to wear anymore and they want to get rid of it, this is a good cause. We can help facilitate a bunch of jerseys getting to.
And actually,
it could be a multi-Halloween thing. It's not just for 1 year.
Yeah. If people were going to like help out paint a tifo instead, this is more important,
this is
right?
Important.
So ditch your duties with the 3252. Help out a stranger.
Figure out a way to make a 12-foot LAFC jersey.
There were a couple of LAFC questions before we got to who's the spookiest that I want to get to. I know, Vince. I know. Let's see where. Matt Williams says, discuss the Pogba rumors. How are we feeling about these rumors about a nice man who hasn't played in a while coming to LAFC? It feels not real to me. Vince,
it just seems like, hey, France.
No.
Well, how are you feeling, Vince? Tell us what you're thinking.
Paul Pogba is a fantastic player, incredible player, but has not been the same for a long time, probably since the 2018 World Cup. And I say this as a Juventus fan. I mean, he made his name at Juventus, then left to Man United, came back to Juventus, obviously got his doping ban reduced from 4 years to, I think, 18 months. Good for him. First of all, he's going to command a huge salary. Juventus and him are already talking about ways to kind of rescind his contract to make him a free agent, which is fine. But in these big European players, it's not just the salary. They're going to also request a signing bonus. It's kind of what Kylian Mbappe did, leaving PSG to Real Madrid. He basically was like, I'll come for free, but also I want like $50 million out front. I would imagine Paul Pogba can't command that much, but he's still Paul Pogba.
It's kind of like me winning the bet.
Right. And also if you're thinking, well, that money can either go to Paul Pogba or Anton Griezmann, I'm taking Griezmann all day long. Not just because I think he would obviously probably cost less too, but like just the style player is, the type of player he is, the willingness to come to America, has wanted to come here for so long. I think he just ticks a lot more boxes, whereas Pogba is an unknown. I think he's a little misunderstood, but some of what he has got, some of the flack he has gotten, he's definitely brought on himself. Still think he's a fantastic player, and honestly, on top of it, he's going to stay in Europe. Like he's not coming.
Well, tell that to Twitter, Vince.
Right. Yeah, luckily, I don't go there anymore.
Quickly, a super chat from Daniel. Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat. We love you. $5. Darren, confession: Boston sports teams losing gives me joy, especially the Pats and Bruins. That's true of me too, Daniel.
That's true of most people. I think that's fine.
There's nothing.
That's reasonable. I'm okay with it.
The people.
And luckily, the Pats are losing a lot more lately, which is always fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I kind of welcome it. To be honest, it's been difficult to be a Boston sports fan.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's been easy for so long.
It's been difficult. Yeah, it hasn't been difficult, but it's been difficult to assume that as part of my identity.
The Celtics won this year.
I don't mean it's been difficult given my goals for the teams. I mean it's been difficult that
as a person.
Yeah, just moving through the world where
he's upset that everyone hates him. I mean,
it's annoying. It's annoying that it's like we're the enemies and we don't like. I want to go back to having to earn it. So like this is the square one they have to go back to. So I'm okay with it.
The best part is you're a Boston sports fan that then moved to Los Angeles because people love Los Angeles sports fans. Like you're screwed, Darren.
Yeah, and both cities will equally hate you for that as well, right? Like there's no one that will claim you.
Yeah, you're no longer welcomed at either place, which is a good thing. You got that $130 because you are living large on top of the hill, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to a safe house and live it out.
The people of Boston sad, but I do worry about their wives and kids. There was another LAFC comment I'm going to get to real quick.
Hurry.
We haven't
have confirmation. It's absolutely. Wait, hold on. We have confirmation from Miss Bones. It's not cultural appropriation. And fun fact: we are all skeletons. Actually, that's an interesting. Point.
I mean, I'm not a skeleton.
That's true. Yes, she's neglecting to acknowledge that Travis doesn't have any bones.
So I have no bones. Sorry to let everybody know. I don't have any bones. Miguel Lopez says we haven't lost since Atuesta stopped playing. We ride or die with O'Brien, Tillman, and Sanchez. Miguel Lopez brings up a good point. We were upset about Atuesta.
Miguel Lopez with the heat.
We were on a bit of a skid with Atuesta playing a good amount. Atuesta has not been starting for us. He has played in some of those games. I want to say that the stop playing is untrue. He didn't play today, obviously.
Yeah, he did score a goal in the game that he got an injury.
But we have been winning with O'Brien, Tillman, and Sanchez. And I think, let's say you were Steve Cherundolo looking for some sort of understanding of who to start in the playoffs. I think we know who our starting midfield is now, right? Like we've just found form with these three.
Well, we talked about it a lot, even while they were playing well. I said this, I think that the two-man midfield, the 3-4-3, does not suit Atuesta at all. And it really doesn't, especially when you put him next to Ilie. Like those two, they were able to make it work. They had some good games, but I said long-term, I don't like it. And you got to remember what was going on at the time. Tillman was coming back from injury. Lewis O'Brien had just joined the team and wasn't fully integrated. Now that Tillman is fit and O'Brien is integrated, yeah, they're a better fit. If you're going to play with a 3-4-3, they're absolutely a better fit. So I don't think Atuesta really has a spot, at least as a starter or, getting big minutes. But and I think John Thornton has kind of alluded to this, they never meant to go to this formation. I think next season they'll plan to try to play a 4-3-3. Atuesta can definitely be a good player, and he was a good player in the 4-3-3 for periods of time. You just have to hope that also he's getting that much further away from his ACL injury, which we've alluded to a lot in these chats. I don't think he's a horrible player. And, even though Ilie scores the goal, like he hasn't played much in this midfield either. So let's just careful there.
Ilie is our captain. except when Aaron Long's out there, in which case
Because Aaron Long was wearing the captain's band.
Aaron Long's been great, man. We gave him so much shit last year. He's been so solid. His passing has gotten better. His defense is great. There was a slide tackle from him early on in the game, right after we scored, that might have stopped an early goal from Vancouver, probably their only real chance early on in the game. He had a couple of block shots, actually. Aaron Long, I think, had a sneaky, very important game. It was just too close, right? Like, that game should not have been nearly as close as it was.
No.
Tell me if you already covered this, because you did more generally at the very least. But how the defense did seem to completely break down, or was it the midfield? I don't know. Like what broke exactly?
The rhythm. Yeah, spirit. Actually, no, spirit. I mean, spirit's part of it. The rhythm and the spirit, I guess, because like I said, the second half, Vancouver definitely puts in more of an effort, but then also what they're doing is they're pushing you deeper. They're winning more free kicks. And it's hard to defend when you're just defending over and over and over. When they look so good in that first half was when they were dictating play. So even when they're losing the ball, they're the ones that are recovering quickly and getting back into areas and being aggressive. But when LAFC has to drop really deep and they can't get out of their own end, then things start to break down. And that's kind of true for any team, realistically. Okay. Nick, no one wants to defend that deep. But you got to say, even when they were defending deep, the type of chances they were giving up weren't the highest quality chances. So they're still pretty solid defensively, even in areas where like you would prefer they could get out of their end and get out of their own 18.
Now,
fair.
I do want to watch the end of the Dodger game, and I'm sure some of our listeners do as well. So I want to end on one question. Carlos Vela, they posted a photo of him on Instagram with the crown and then a hourglass that seemed to imply it's the time that he's going to play. It's time for Carlos. I think someone told the person on Instagram that he was playing this week and something changed, right? It was too much of a direct reference to him playing this week. What do we think happened? Do we think he's definitely coming back next week? What does it mean if he starts for the first time in the play, or he plays for the first time in the playoffs?
So how much can I say? The way this normally works.
Vince.
Whoa, Vince.
To your point, Travis. The people with the keys to the social media would not be as effusive in reference to Carlos Vela if they did not know something. Now, that could be as big as someone saying, hey, I've been told he's going to play. Or it could also be, oh, the coach has been talking really good about him lately. I think he's going to play. Those are two very different things. But either way, yes, some information was definitely passed along to the admins of LAFC social media, and they posted that. So if you're mad at anybody, do not be mad at them.
It was too explicit of a reference, right? They love like doing veiled references on social media. Even when we signed him, there was a more veiled reference to him than what this was. This felt like they were saying tomorrow or 2 days from now, we're going to see Carlos Vela.
Or they could have been like, it's not going to happen yet. It's like an hourglass. It's not time. It's not done yet.
But why post it?
Not yet.
No, I just having been in those rooms, like I said, usually they're pretty, and that comes from the top too. Like John Thorrington would be upset if they were like, Carlos is ready tomorrow, and he's not. Like John would be like, why would we do that? We don't do that. That's not the way we act. This also puts Carlos in a weird position. Not that Carlos cares, but it would be for him to be like, why would you do that? Why, people were expecting that. But again, I don't know what exactly was said, but somebody had to have said something like, I feel good about it. And that makes me think that he'll play a part in that final game of the season. But to Travis's point, I think there was a very real feeling that he was probably going to be a part of this group. And then finding out that he didn't travel at all was kind of like a gut punch.
My guess is, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Darren.
I was going to say, my guess is it might have had something to do with finding out that a few of the guys that were on the initial international squads didn't end up staying on those international squads. And we only ended up losing 3 guys. I wonder if maybe it was like, oh, I guess he doesn't really have to play.
Sure. And it's on turf.
Which Drew didn't seem to love.
Hey, that hurt my ankle, and the fact that he went to play on for like another 20 minutes. Thank God, it seems like he's going to be okay. But that looked really tough. That's like one of those where you're like, yeah, it's just an ankle sprain, but that could be like 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's not good.
I thought we were losing him for a couple games, right? Like that was the way that he was rolling around. I think, but sometimes when you roll your ankle, it feels like you broke it for like 2 minutes, and then eventually you're like,
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very thankful that that's the case. And he played for 10, 15 minutes more, even though we could have just brought in Kamaro and it would have been fine. I was about to yell about the turf when that happened. That Martinez, someone else got hurt too, right? Didn't Palencia right before he gave up the own goal seemed to get a little bit knocked as well. Look, we are 1 game away from the end of the regular season. There's a chance on decision day, if we win by enough or the Galaxy lose by enough, that we end up first in the West. It's still most likely we'll end up second. We can't drop any lower than second, but I'm feeling good about this team. We're going into the playoffs at good form. That slump is over. We're fully back. Carlos is hopefully going to be back next week. And the 3 of us will be at the tailgate together next Saturday. The most important thing that is happening in LAFC history. The 3 of us will be together. This is
we will be the starting back line for your LAFC.
And we will devise a plan to beat
I guarantee a loss. Sorry. Yes. I stepped on you saying something that actually meant something.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, excited to see everybody. It'll be fun to hang out with everyone at the tailgate. And then, it's the first time that the 3 of us will be at a game together as well. So if it's a loss, we'll never do that again.
Yeah. We can promise you that.
We can promise you that.
We have been coincidentally at a game in very different seats and never saw and didn't see each other.
Yes, we didn't know, right? So if you're watching this, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you, everybody who already is. We'll be back with the preview. We're so close to 1,000.
We're so close to 1,000 subscribers and winning the Supporter Shield.
Both
of those things.
What will happen first? We'll win the Supporter Shield from 2024 or get to 1,000?
I'm pretty sure both will happen this season. So pretty excited about both of those things.
Darren's still got hope.
Do we have eyes on Miami? What are they up to? We got to figure it out. They need those points.
Someone fly a drone. Can we get the team to fly a drone over?
Someone call Canada. We're in Vancouver. While we're there, let's get that drone program going.
I just want to end by thanking Ilie Sanchez for making this live stream what it was going to be. Right. So thank you to Ilie Sanchez.
As always.
The Dodgers
are unsung hero sung tonight.
Dodgers are up 6-0 in the 7th right now. If anyone is about to turn on the game, we love you all. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you at BMO, baby. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
See you at